It's going to be by Mr. Sanchit Singla, Senior Director, HAPPAY. Mr. Sanchit Singla is a Senior Director at HAPPAY, boasts 7+ years in B2B SaaS, spearheading pre-sales and implementation. His expertise spans diverse sectors, executing impactful digital transformation and fostering enduring client connection through strategic vision.
So I think, while the stage has been set very nicely by all the industry leaders so far, there's a bit more about, what lies ahead of digital transformation and, digitizing your expense management journey or your spend management journey. In an overall perspective, I'm sure most of you would know about what HAPPAY does, right? So right now, I'm not really talking about HAPPAY. Don't take me as a salesman trying to sell my product here. But I think what we are trying to talk to you about here is more about how important is policy compliance in today's world, and especially how do you achieve 100% policy compliance, right? So, and there's a very interesting fact, while I'm sure all of you would relate to it, that one non-policy compliance event in your company can actually increase or it can actually reduce your finance team's productivity by more than 3 times. And this means, and it's a very large number to look at when you look at an organization with scale, an organization which has a lot of expenditure and a lot of audit and controls that are being incorporated into it. Especially companies who are listed would understand this. And what makes it more important to understand is that today's employees cannot be forced. There is no stick and measure that you can use to tell your employees that you can't do this, you can't do that, I will not pay you for your whatever you're spent for. So all this is, like Sir said, it's a dinosaur age that has passed. And people now are, even employees that you look at, employees are constantly shifting their companies, they're looking for modern workplaces, is where automation becomes very, very important for organizations like yours to make sure that your organizations don't have too much policy non-compliance, right? And how do we achieve 100% policy compliance? While there's no one single answer to that, with our large experience, so being HAPPAY, being here, and I am one of the, original part of the team, I have seen across the last 1 decade, working with very large finance leaders. A lot of you are sitting in the audience with me, and with the experience of working with a lot of finance leaders, we have been able to understand and have been able to design a framework around this policy compliance, right? So typically, there are 4 pillars of expense management, which includes data capture, which includes the processes, the approval process, as well as your expense auditing or expense processing, right? So these are the 4 pillars which once automated, which once caught with the right eye, can actually make the entire process more compliant, more visible to you, and can give you more insights about how the money is moving in your company on the field. So we'll talk about the first part, how to automate the data capture procedure, right? So, people will relate to me when your employees, especially frequent travelers, who are going all across the country and maybe internationally also, they are spending day in, day out. And they are incurring expenses almost on a daily basis, right? So, and you can understand as simple as a cab expense, right? Like a taxi expense. If I'm a frequent flyer, I would incur at least 2 or 3 taxis in a day for my business travel. So if I'm traveling for 5 days or 10 days, that will exponentially increase. And you can understand how difficult it gets for an employee to record all their expenses, all their bills in one go. I'm sure you all would have even seen that, when you have so many bills with you, you would see a lot of employees in your company sitting with, plethora of papers on their table at home, sitting for hours together just to file their expenses and just to claim the money that they have spent for your company, right? And there's nothing productive about it, right? They're not contributing to your business. They're not contributing to anything to your top line. They're not doing anything about it, but they are wasting their productive time only to claim their expenses. So the important part remains in capturing the expenses in a very proper way. And that means capturing it automatically. Now, you can in fact imagine that Today, almost all receipts are automated, are either digital, they come to your email. In fact, a lot of companies have stopped giving you physical receipts also today, right? So it's important to capture the expenses coming from these different sources into your expense platform, right? So I'm assuming that those of you who are not using an expense platform today may soon start using it, but those of you who are using it may relate more with me that how important it is to actually capture your expenses on your expense platform. And when you say that, there are different modes of capturing this data. One is the expenses that come on your emails. The second, that come through your travel applications, be it your Ola, Uber, or maybe the tickets that you book from your travel agency. Then it's about your physical receipts, the ones that you receive, say maybe while having a breakfast at the airport, or through SMS. So you have spent from your personal card, you receive an SMS. There can be credit card statements when you're spending through your company credit card, or through WhatsApp. So a lot of you receive invoices from WhatsApp also. So these are all different methods of capturing your expenses. Now, using the modern technology, you can very instantly record these expenses from these different sources, right? So if you get a bill from your, say, Meru, or maybe from your Airtel or Jio on your email, you can instantly forward these to an expense management platform, much like HAPPAY, and you can instantly create your expenses over there. So no need to download it, no need to upload it thereafter. Secondly, data coming from your travel applications. While most of us now travel with the large cab hailing aggregators like Uber, Ola, or Meru, all these bills will either come through an email or can be directly integrated into these applications, right? Talking about physical bills, it becomes very important for organizations to use technologies like OCR. So there's a concept of optical character recognition that is not, I'm sure all of you must be aware of. But this is something that helps your employees to capture their expenses in a very faster way. They don't need to type the amount, they don't need to type the bill number, etc. All of that can be automated through the use of optical character recognition. Same goes for SMS also. The way you see your, whenever you go and you are going to pay on a payment gateway, your OTP gets read automatically from the SMS. In a very similar manner, there are applications, very smart travel expense management applications, who are able to read from your SMSs also. So whenever you swipe your card, your personal card, you're able to read from that in your SMS inbox. Same goes for credit card also. And same goes for WhatsApp, right? So all these are different ways of capturing your data automatically. So this enables your employees to not spend their energy in typing data, uploading receipts, and digitizing journey should not be a manual one for employees anymore, right? So for the sake of digitization, a lot of organizations take softwares, but what happens is at the end of the day, it increases the employees' work. The employees are forced to scan those bills, are able to upload them, and are able to testify them, are able to type the data which is contained in those receipts. So this is where it is important to automate your data capture. Second one obviously remains that of approvals. While I'm sure being a finance person, you'll agree that people in your organization, especially managers, are constantly traveling. They don't have, this is not the only job that they have to approve people's travel bills. But it becomes so important, especially when you're about to book a flight. So when you're about to book a flight, say the fare is 5,000 rupees. But if the manager approval doesn't come on time, effectively say, it may happen the next day. By that time, the fare may have actually increased because of dynamic fare pricing. So, all these ways, and especially about policy violations, organizations who are not using such solutions where policies or, your rules are about to validate, your finance team would waste so much time in arguing with the employee, sending it to the manager, escalating it that, you have exceeded your limit, why have you claimed, why have you overclaimed, I will not reimburse you, and it will take almost a month's time for someone to get their money back. At the end of the day, there would be someone who will get an exceptional approval, and you have to pay it. So why not incorporate it right in the beginning of the journey, right? So this is how automating the process flows can help you out in clearing out this clutter. And, especially a lot of organizations, in my experience, have benefited out of this approval automation. They have seen that any expense which is, say, within the employee's eligibility and, say, below 5,000 rupees can be automatically sent to the finance team. It may not need an approval. Maybe a flight booking of less than 6,000 rupees may not need any approval at all, right? So that's typically called a green channel approval, right? So these kind of modern technologies, modern approval flows can help your organizations become more compliant, make the lives more easier, and even for your auditors who are auditing the system, it makes it more accurate for them to catch such things out, right? So, while all of us are able to relate to this fact, it's also important to understand that it needs an environment of trust to be built in your organizations, right? So while we understand being finance people, it's very difficult to trust, and especially trust people with expenses. There has to be at least a culture of trust that can be built with such automated systems that you're aware of, that your employees are rest assured that they have an easy path. You are sure that the technology is taking care of your compliance, and that is where both the ends start meeting together. And obviously, like I spoke about approvals, this is what, automating the policy violations can actually help you out with. And this is about, when there is no policy violation, there can be a green channel. And you can have even amount-based approval workflows. So, I'm sure there is delegation of authority. You can say an expense of more than 1 lakh rupees may need the director's approval. Maybe an expense more than 5 lakh would need the CFO's approval. So such kind of automation can be incorporated into the organizations. Now coming to the very important part of expense processing, which is the expense audit. What actually is being carried out on the desk of a finance processor who is right before paying the employee, he checks the bills, he checks whether the amounts are matching, whether the bill number is correct, whether it is in the right GL or not, whether the GSTN has been claimed or not. So all this entire activity can be now automated, right? And it's something that is a very simple use case of how you see technology around you, right? And this is all, while we see all our friends from Avalara, from different companies, talking about their products, it's all technology helping your use cases in finance. And this is how automating your policy audit becomes a very important part of this. So this is where, like I say, there are organizations who are now able to find out duplicate expenses using these type of algorithms. So especially I'll talk about how we do it. So at HAPPAY, we use IBM Watson and we use the likes of Google Vision in a combined parser that we have built in-house. And we have been able to automate the process of checking duplicate bills, right? So you can actually identify, the system will prompt you if the same bill has been submitted by 2 people at the same time, right? So as an organization, you don't have to worry about audit. Because even today you'll agree with me that your audit is mostly spot audit, right? So you are able to check a section of bills. You may not be able to check all the bills at the same time, right? But this is how technology can help you. So using OCR and using machine learning, we are able to identify whether there are 2 bills which are duplicate or not. Another very nice use case of this entire application is that of identifying whether there is tobacco or whether there is alcohol which is being claimed for, right? So another very interesting event, right? So one of my clients who are based out of Gujarat, they had asked us to identify whether someone is claiming for chicken or not, right? So there are organizations who don't reimburse for non-veg food. And that's something that, is an Indian problem. And this is something that solution like ours was able to provide them. So this is something very, on a lighter note I was able to share with you, but this is something that Indian problems need Indian solutions. And that is where, we are able to identify and are able to solve the problem of compliance in Indian scenario, right? So that's about it. Any questions so far that anyone has? Right. Thank you so much everyone for being a patient audience.
Hi,
Here's a
sir.
quick
What can I
video
get for
about
you?
the tool.
I'll
Maybe
have
all
a
of you
Coke,
would
and
like to
you?
look at
A cappuccino.
Anything else to add on, sir?
No, nothing for me as well. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
So, have you heard of this T&E platform called HAPPY?
HAPPAY.
Yes,
HAPPAY. Everyone's been talking about it.
Yeah, my company uses HAPPAY as well.
So, what's so special about them?
Well, you can book corporate flights, hotels, and cabs all from within the HAPPAY app. It automatically notifies me when I book out of policy options. And if there's an opportunity to save the company money, HAPPAY will alert me to those cheaper options. Oh, and you can even freeze flight fares.
Just because you say freeze flight fares doesn't mean the flight fares are actually frozen.
No. In this case, it is. Employees can freeze flights so that the flight prices don't go up while they're waiting for trip approvals.
Damn!
Yeah. Shout out to my manager for making sure everything's approved on time.
Sir, excuse me, these are your bills.
Yeah, well... Ah, So, thanks to my handy manual system, I can now optimize my workflow and take only 1 day's leave to file all my month's expenses.
With HAPPAY, you can file all your expenses on the go. It doesn't matter where you are. I mean, in a meeting, at lunch, or having cappuccino with a friend.
So within these 2 minutes, you filed all your expenses?
Yeah, and I didn't even need to take leaves to file it. See, the HAPPAY card is a prepaid card issued by my company for my travel expenses. Whenever I pay using this card, it automatically creates an expense on the HAPPAY app.
Sorry, sir, we don't have change for this.
Any change? Look if you have anything. Any if you are having. Please just check, man. Please don't do like this, man. I don't have any change, sir.
What's that?
No matter the booking system, we have to take back all the physical bills back to the office.
No, HAPPAY automatically collects all your expense data from your emails, SMSs, credit cards, cab apps, and it even digitizes physical bills for you.
This is unfair. HAPPAY does not have any manual checks. You can make any payment that you want.
No.
Today the beer is on you.
No, look, it's actually quite the opposite. HAPPAY's smart audit feature actually catches bills which have policy violations, restricted items, or duplicate claims, or even claim restrictions. And with this, the finance team focuses on the real finance work.
Smartness की भी हद होती है. I made a trip to Delhi last quarter. It's been 12 emails in 90 days. Still no luck. Which last trip did you get reimbursed for?
Actually, this was a meal I had earlier today.
Hello, sir. Sir, we are missing out. We must get HAPPAY. Yes, sir. Hap, then pay.
Use HAPPAY and live life with convenience.
Yep, so get happy and live life with convenience. Thank you so much for watching us. If you need any assistance, we are right outside here. Thank you so much.